different colleges and who have appeared for MHT CET, and today they are here to share their experience about the exam and help you guide with the entire thing about the preparation, the tips, the strategies about the subjects, what to focus on, and how well can you prepare for MHT CET, which is going to happen in April month. So I'm sure this session will be very useful for all of you who are planning to appear for MHT CET and get enrolled in a premium institution. So I think our panelists will be the best people around here to help you out, with their share of experiences. All right. So firstly, I'd like to welcome Snehal and Shreyas. Thank you so much for joining us here. And I would like you to please introduce yourselves to all the students out here. Yes, Snehal, you could start with.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bhagyashree. So let me start with my full name. My name is Snehal Wagh. I'm from Coep. I'm in the last year right now, from electronics background. And I've been born and brought up in Pune itself. So apparently every education of mine has been completed in Pune itself. So yeah.
Great. Over to you, Shreyas.
Yeah. So good evening, guys. This is Shreyas Chandolkar from Pune Institute of Computer Technology, Dhankaudi. I'm from the Electronics and Telecommunication branch. And yeah, I'm born and brought up in Pune. So I've completed my education from Pune itself. And yeah, excited to interact with you guys.
Great. I think we have a third panelist also here. So welcoming you, Atharv. I would like you to please introduce yourself to all our students.
Good afternoon all. Myself, Atharv Umbarkar. I am second year integrated MTech chemical engineering student. I am from Icity, Mumbai.
Great.
Glad to connect with you all.
Great. So I think we have all our three panelists who will be sharing their experiences. And let us start off with some of the questions, the basic questions that we had for all our students. So, starting with you, Snehal, if I would ask which is the most popular branch among students, who qualify for MHT CET, because you have also qualified the exam. So what, according to you, is the most popular branch that student opt for? Yes, Snehal.
As far as COEP is concerned, there is no as such as a popular branch, I would say. But yeah, there are some couple of unique branches like there is production, there is planning. Planning is kind of a sub part of civil engineering. So basically what we have in COEP is like the branches are divided in two groups. There is M group and then there is E group. So E group contains electronics and telecommunication, instrumentation, then there is computer science and electrical. And M group contains this thing. I would say production, mechanical, civil engineering, all of those branches overall. So I would say there is no such like a special branch, but people give preference to computer science because computer science people get placed very early in a very short amount of time, and they are like a bit more, I would say, demanded in the market. But after computer science comes electronics and telecommunication. So yeah, I would say according to that preference.
Right. So coming to you, Shreyas, just extending the question to you, what could be the popular branches, or I would say the courses which are more popular in students and they opt more for it? So what, according to you, is the popular one?
Okay, so current era being of computer and stuff. So mostly people are inclined towards the computer engineering branch. And as Sneha said that, the placements are quite good for computer engineering. Even the salaries and packages that they give are very high as compared to the other branches. So yeah, most of the students tend to apply for computer science engineering, but we have few students who, and because of their interest, go for electronics or other branches. But if you ask for a particular branch which is currently booming, it's computer engineering. Like most of the students they try to go for it. And many a times it is a case that they just sacrifice the college maybe for a particular branch.
Right. Okay. So thank you for that answer. Coming to Atharv, we have a question for you, and I hope you'll be the best person to answer this. So this is Dhruv Dashwant, who wants to know about Icity College Mumbai. It's your college. So he wants to know a bit about the college. So if you would like to, help him out with your college.
Okay. So ICT is a very research-oriented college. If you are interested in research and specifically in chemical field or pharma, you may join it. There's no better place other than this. Living IITs. ICT is a brand, complete brand.
Okay. So what exactly sets ICT apart, from other colleges that do provide the same course? What is that USP for ICT Mumbai?
Uh, there are many things like labs are are of very high quality.
Okay.
Yes, and
Uh,
you get many contacts from professors.
Okay. Okay. So you're talking about the faculty and the kind of
Yes,
the entire thing that
highly
happens.
qualified faculties.
Okay. Okay. Great. So coming to some other questions, let's talk about other than the conventional branches. Coming to you, Snehal,
Yeah.
what are some unique engineering streams as per the industry trends offered at COEP?
Okay. So, at COEP, right now there is not such like a branch, but in automation engineering is kind of a thing which is being trendy these days, if we say. And then there is, I would say, then there is planning branch, which not much colleges have. So it is like a sub branch of civil. Uh, it contains town planning. So basically, it contains all of the things in which civil department contains, but still it has a very, I would say, a narrowed down curriculum compared to civil engineering. And overall, I guess pretty much the basic conventional branches we have in every college, all COEP does have that. So
Okay, okay. So, also, just adding it to it, is there any, since you have appeared for MHT CET, so is there any negative marking that happens for the exam?
no, at least for us, I don't know if it has changed over the time, but generally CET doesn't have any negative marking because it is just based on a Maharashtra on a state level entrance exam.
Okay.
So yeah, it doesn't have, yeah, but it's like a more of like a time based exam than I would say IQ level based exam. So uh, they just test you how you can handle the pressure and how you can collect specific questions and solve in a specific amount of time. So that is the main thing there. That is the main competition there.
Right. So, Snail, just adding into it, if I like had the same question to Athar, like, what exactly is the USP for COEP? It's a very popular college in Maharashtra for sure,
Yeah.
and a lot of students, want to know about it. So, what is like the thing that sets it apart from other institutions? And students should definitely focus first for COEP and then look for some other colleges after passing MHT CET. So, what is that
Okay.
USP?
Yeah. So first and foremost thing, COIP is a brand. Everybody knows that, and it's the oldest college. I would say one of the oldest colleges in India.
Mhm.
And the extra curricular wise, I would say COIP stands out because COIP has its own board club, which not much colleges have.
Mhm.
And I would say you get a lot of when you enter into campus, you get a lot of historic kind of vibe when you walk into the campus, and the faculty almost like 90-95% faculty are like studied from IITs, and also they
Right.
are much more a very practical approach, like they teach us practical approach rather than theoretical approach. And on the top of that, COEP is now autonomous, so that's why you get to explore, you get to learn without without considering the whatever jhanjat you go through for the university colleges and all. You don't have to worry about that because in college only you can explore, you can do your own thing, and you get a lot of liberties because it's autonomous thing. So yeah, I think that sets us apart from the rest of the college.
Right. So, coming to you, Shreyas, there's a very common question that I have seen in MHT CET webinars is like students want to know that if they are not from Maharashtra, how can they, secure their position in top college? Suppose I have a question here from Ravi Kumar, and I think he's from Bihar, and he says that he's from Bihar, and so is he eligible for MHT CET, and how much marks will he secure to get in top college? So Shreyas, like I said, this is a very common question that students from outside Maharashtra has for MHT CET, that are they eligible for this exam, and what exactly should they, their preparation should be to get into a college in Maharashtra? Yes, Shreyas.
Okay, so like speaking of MHT CET, it is specifically for Maharashtra colleges, right? So like when you are applying for any colleges, okay, based on the MHT CET score and stuff, what we have seen is there are different quotas during the admission process, through which the students which are not living in Maharashtra, which are from other parts of India, can apply. So like I myself have seen that, many of my friends who are currently studying with me, my classmates, so many of them are from other states, like few of them are from Jammu and Kashmir. So like they have this quota for Jammu and Kashmir where the students can apply. Then even for other non-Maharashtrian states also, they have these quotas. They can apply through those quota and get admission, secure admission. Speaking of the like eligibility criteria and stuff, it depends on a lot of factors, because they have, based on the quota, they have to apply for it. Like there's no general process for it. You have to search from which quota you can apply. But most probably the standard 12 board exam marks are considered like almost everywhere. So the main criteria would be that, and the second would be, of course, the common entrance exam test and stuff.
Right. So, Shreyas, just adding to that, we would like to know a bit about your college PICT and what exactly strongly it holds, as a top college in Maharashtra. So, please do tell us a bit about PICT.
Yeah, so like Pune Institute of Computer Technology, it was established well back in 1983. So initially it was established to provide computer science engineering branch. So one of the oldest computer science engineering branch in Pune. And it started with that journey and, a goal to give education, which is based on technology and stuff. So it started with computer engineering. Now they have electronics and information technology. So mostly what our college is currently based on is building on computer science skills. Like many of our alumni are working in various good sectors, various good companies like Google, Microsoft and stuff. And even many of them are, good entrepreneurs, because they have started very good companies like Gig India. Many of them are good researchers, mainly in Stanford and Harvard universities. So it's kind of a very huge, I would say, sector, which like the alumni are working. And yeah, speaking of the college, I would say there are many points which, I would not be able to cover up today, but the main points would be like the flagship events that PICT holds. The second thing is the curriculum that it has. So it is basically affiliated with Savitribai Phule Pune University. So it's kind of a backbone of PICT, because like, outside India, like in foreign universities, they have this tag name for Pune University. So it's a very good name for Pune University. So that's the first thing. And second thing, the technical events and stuff. And, this being a computer institute, so it holds a good value. And the most important part, like, frankly speaking, are the placements. Like many good companies are there, like NVIDIA, Microsoft, and they do come they do visit our campus. And yeah, so that's the story.
Right. Thank you so much, Shreyas, for the answer. Coming to Athar. Athar, since all three of you have appeared for MHT CET and qualified and then moved ahead to some of the best colleges in Maharashtra. So, Athar, this entire session revolves around preparing for MHT CET and the top three colleges that we are aiming. So, when you were preparing for that exam, what kind of preparation did you have, and what strategies did you follow, while preparing for MHT CET? If you would like to share that.
So when I was preparing for MHT CET, I started from very basics.
Okay.
Like we have to start from 8th to 9th class basics, basic formulas and all. And you need to be good in maths. You should be good in maths too. It's mandatory to score good in MHT CET because it is of 100 marks, I guess. It is more important.
Okay.
We should focus more on maths.
Okay.
And then chemistry. Talking about chemistry, there is organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry, and physical chemistry. So inorganic chemistry and physical chemistry part is so easy. It can be done in half a month or 20 to 25 days. It's not that a big thing. And talking about MHT scenario, chemistry is not that tough. You can easily score good marks in chemistry. It's your scoring point, chemistry.
Right. Okay.
About physics, I was not good in physics, but still I managed to score around 80 to 85% in physics.
Okay.
You just need to revise all the derivations and all the concepts in physics.
Okay.
That's all what I've done.
Okay. So, Atharv, just adding another question to that, what exactly is the cutoff for ICT? I mean, for your particular
it depends
course.
on branches. There are many branches.
Okay.
And now we have two different campuses also. One is in Jalna and other is in Bhubaneswar.
Okay.
So it depends which branch do you want.
Okay. So if we talk about the course that you are pursuing, so what was the cutoff for that?
It is around if we are talking about general category, it's above 95.
Okay. Okay.
You need more than 95.
Okay, so I think that well answers about. And what about chemical engineering, Athar? What is the current cutoff for chemical engineering at ICT?
Chemical, again talking about generals, it's 97, 96. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that answer. So, coming to some other questions, we have a lot of questions coming here from our students. So, Snehal, talking about the syllabus for MHT CET, what is the syllabus for the exam, and how to cover the entire syllabus? Because we know in April they'll be starting off with the exams and all. So, what are the important topics that students really need to focus right now, and the tips that you could share for preparing in a very short span of time for MHT CET?
Okay, so first of all, I would say there are a lot of people, there is a lot of chunk which comes from JEE mains, I would say. So students need to understand that preparing for JEE mains and preparing for CET is not really the same thing. So JEE mains is more of like I would say, practical approach kind of exam, but CET is more like a time-based exam. So you have to run fast with the accuracy. So here comes the basic part, how to manage the time. So during my time, it was like a 2-hour exam. And I guess it was 50-50 and then 100 questions. So 100 for maths, 50 for physics, 50 for chemistry. So the first and foremost thing you need to understand is that getting correct is not the priority right now. For some time, you need to follow the ABC approach. So for A, you segregate some time. So during my time, what I did was I took up chemistry first. So I finished chemistry in like 25 minutes. And then the rest of the time, rest of the 35 minutes, I solved physics, because physics needs a lot of time. It has a lot of calculations. And sometimes chemistry there are like a lot of one word MCQs as well. So you don't really require that much time. Specifically for physical chemistry has a lot of calculations. For organic chemistry, you don't get that much, I would say, that much time to, you don't have to like solve, and it's just concept based. If you know the concept, you are done. If you don't, you just move on. And so physics I gave, so in 1 hour I had to complete chemistry and physics, and the rest 1 hour I gave it for maths. So math has a lot of things. The very first and foremost thing is that calculus. In calculus, जैसे boards में आते हैं questions, like there are like 2-3 pages का solution. They don't give that much that much difficult questions. They give like small questions which can be solved in a very logical way. Sometimes if there is an integration given, you can try options ka derivation, and then you can get, if you're getting the same question, then that's your correct option. So a lot of elimination method is being used. So that is the first thing which you need to understand when you make a strategy how to attempt the exam. The first and foremost thing, you need to check if there is an option or if there is a chance through which I can eliminate the options. So ये वाला तो हो ही नहीं सकता, ये वाला तो हो ही नहीं सकता. So what people do is like under pressure of time, we see the question and we start solving it, but we don't see the options. Sometimes options are not that tricky. It's just that it's a very simple one option, and then you realize that, अरे ये तो यही पे था. Why did I waste like 2 minutes solving this question? And
Right.
CET make you need to give like 1.5 minutes per question in physics specifically. For chemistry, you have like 25 minutes. Accordingly, you can divide your time. And as I was saying about the ABC approach, how you apply that is that in A part, so if you have like 25 minutes, you break it down to 10, 10, 5 minutes. So first 10 minutes, you just like pick out those questions which you are damn sure. So when you look at the question, you're damn sure that yes, ये तो मैंने किया है for 50, 100 times, whatever it is, and I'm damn sure that I can get this correct. So first 10 minutes, you need to finish those 9 to 10 questions, whichever they are. Next 10 minutes, you need to pick out the medium level questions where you know the approach, you can start solving, and you are, I would say 70-80% confident that you can reach to the answer. So next 10 minutes, you need to do that. And I would say it seems difficult to solve. See, there are like 50 questions. Okay. And solving it in 25 minutes, it's really difficult. But that's the trick. They don't really give you every question with the same amount of time it will require to solve. They don't give. Sometimes 10 seconds may you click the answer. Okay, yahi pe tha ye. And chemistry, matlab 25 minutes may it gets over. It's not that not every question requires solving and all. So yeah. So for chemistry, I would say if I break it down, the strategy for chemistry, the first 10 minutes you can do the questions from organic chemistry, I would say, which are like only 1 line question, only 1 word questions. You get tick 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 tick. You can do it. Next 10 minutes you can solve physical chemistry, which requires a lot of solving and all. And up till then, out of 50 questions, you reach around, I would say 25 to 30 questions. And last 5 minutes, you just check whichever questions are remaining. You just check which are solvable, and then you solve them. I would say in last minute or so, you just give tukkas, because apparently it's not you don't have a negative marking, so you can take that risk, right? For that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think very well, Snehal have explained how to exactly, answer the paper in time. And I think a lot of you will be giving the exam in next month. This will be very helpful, to understand and time distribution so that you complete the paper on time. So Snehal, just adding another question to it. What is the cutoff for MHT CET for your college?
Depends on branches, of course. So for CS, it goes around 99.87 sometime after COVID, I guess.
Okay.
For electronics, it comes, I think, 0.3 to 0.4 se thoda niche aa jata hai. And rest of the branches get lined up. Like after CS, there is electronics, then there is electrical, then there is instrumentation, and then there is the M group, which is the mechanical and all. So yeah. Okay. So the safer side, we would say, try to come in the first 1%, I would say. So 99 point something is anytime better, I would say. So 99.2, 99.3, try to reach 99.5 se aage if you want to get locked in first round only. So, yeah.
I have a question for you, which Aditi wants to know. She has received 92 percentile in 2021 attempt. So is it possible for her to score good this time in order to get in COEP? If you would like to answer, Aditi.
Yeah. Sure. Why not? Like if you just focus whatever time you have, if you just focus on your stronger parts right now, you would be able to improvise for sure. Like I was the one, I'm kind of a person who is a risk taker. So you always have to take risk. You can't just sit back and you can't just think about that. Will I be able to crack it? Will I be able to not? You don't even know how the paper is going to be. You don't even know the questions. What you have in your hand is that right now, what you have on your plate, you have your questions, you have your MCQs, you have to goddamn practice each and every MCQ, each and every concept. That is what you can control. And rest, you just have to be confident enough to sit in that exam hall and to give paper and to manage your time. So right now, what all need to do is you need to start digging up the past year papers and mock tests. I need to start strategizing your time. You need to check how much time do I require for chemistry, how much time do I require for this particular sum, what do I have to do. Agar ye sum hai, if it requires like 4 minutes to solve, I'm going to leave this. Yeah, right. Like this is how right now, this is the perfect time to actually decide all of this stuff. Because then for exam ke time pe, you will be more aware of your time and how your time is going. So you need to have control of your time. So that is the best strategy, I would say. So from 92, you can directly reach to 99 or so if you follow your strategy, which works best for you.
Right. Thank you so much, Sneha, for that answer.
Yeah.
Coming to you, Shreyas, we have another very important question. So, Paras wants to know what kind of questions can we, expect for this year's MHT CT, because the portion has been reduced. So, do they need to refer to last year's papers and refer to mock test as well? So, what would you like to advise on the kind of, questions for this year? Yes, Shreyas.
Okay, so speaking of questions, the thing is, whichever your portion that they have reduced, so like it's quite obvious that they won't ask any question on that syllabus. Okay, so what I would say is stick with the board pattern. Okay, so whatever the board textbooks you have to prepare well on that side, because ultimately it's time game. So it's not that you have to prepare something higher or something, high-fi. What you have to prepare is you have to prepare on with respect to the board textbooks. So whatever portion they have reduced, there's no I think there's no need to work on that, but definitely the portion that you have to prepare on that basis. And yeah, the ultimate guide would be to stick with the board syllabus and stuff.
Right. So Shreyas,
And
just yes, please continue.
And like speaking of mock test, I would say like no, because of the reduced portion, like they might have new publications and stuff where they might give you new mock tests that you can apply there.
Right. So I'd just like to add another question, Shreyas. Pratik wants to know, are state boards books sufficient to score good marks? What would you like to say?
Yeah. So like, as I said earlier, that this is a time game, and you have to stick with the basics for MHT CET. So I have personally applied for both J mains and CET. So I've seen the difference of like the level of questions that they ask in both the exams.
Right.
So as I suggested earlier, for MHT CET, both textbooks are sufficient. Like the amount of knowledge that they give is quite sufficient to crack MHT CET. And like I have many of my classmates and friends, who have prepared on just the basis of both textbooks and stuff. Like I would say, textbooks are quite sufficient. And of course, the ultimate key is applying those concepts through practicing. So solving many more questions, mock tests, that is the ultimate key to crack any exam.
Right. I think that very well answers a lot of people's questions out here. So coming to you, Athar, we would like to know a bit about, chemistry and maths for CET exam. What exactly you need to study for that? And if you would like to suggest certain books for, scoring good for MHT CET. Yes, Athar.
As I said before, you should start from the basics for mathematics. And talking about chemistry, it's not that difficult. You just have to give your time and dedication. It's not that big deal. Talking about chemistry. And
Right.
about books, there are certain books. I suggest a book whose name is 32 Years PYQs. It's I don't know the perfect name. नाम और कोई भी हो सकता है, मुझे नाम पता नहीं है.
Okay.
और and again what I was saying, ma'am, what was the question? Can you repeat?
Yeah, so I just wanted to know about the books that you would like to refer, because there are a lot of questions that I'm getting about books. What books can they refer to for MHT CET, and if you have any particular book in your mind, so you could like advise them. Also, I just like to add another question, Athar. A lot of students wants to know, is it advisable to give MHT CET test without having MHT domicile? If you have any idea for that, because there are a lot of students
There
who want to
are
know.
all India seats.
So any particular book that you would like to suggest apart from that which you have suggested?
No, it's sufficient.
Great. So again, coming, Dhruv wants to know more about your ICT college, Athar. If you like to brief a bit to Dhruv for this.
See, Icity is a very research-oriented college. If you have interest in core subjects, I'm talking about chemical engineering, you will study more about chemical, not chemistry. Chemistry and chemical are very different. You will be having subjects like momentum transfer, heat transfer, mass transfer in chemical engineering. And in chemistry, you just have to write the chemical reactions. You will never see these reactions happening in real. You just have to write them on papers. But in chemical engineering, you will be doing internships in big refineries. You will be seeing how things are prepared, and all of you know the carbon policy. India has promised the world that it will be reducing its carbon emission by 2050.
Okay.
Yes.
So anything, Athar, about ICT placements and particularly for polymer branch, if you would like to tell them something.
Okay. Placements are good, but approach should be when we जब हम एडमिशन लेना चाहते हैं तब हमारा अप्रोच पैकेज पे नहीं होना चाहिए. हम क्या सीख रहे हैं वहाँ उस पे होना चाहिए. अगर आपने उसमें एक्सेल कर लिया आपके कोर्स में तो पैकेज मिल ही जाएगा आपको इजीली. उसमें कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है.
I agree. Totally. Thank you, Athar, for that answer. So coming to Snehal, I just have a few more questions to you, please. So,
Okay.
so there are a lot of students who want to know about CSE specializations also, and talking about scholarships. Are there any scholarships for students from outside Maharashtra as well for COEP?
It depends actually, because COEP comes under government, so whatever scholarships government offers, those are directly transferred to our college people. So there are like a lot of different schemes for different kind of people. So yeah, there are scholarships, but again, they are categorized specifically to specific, I would say, community.
Also, right. So Snail, is there, apart from entrance, if someone does not want to give entrance exam, so is there a procedure for getting admission for that as well? If you don't want to sit for an entrance exam, is that possible?
Okay, so if you are actually aiming for a good college, you need to be mentally prepared to give that particular entrance exam. For COEP, no, there is no as such, I would say, I don't know if there is a management quota, but I don't know how well it is being established in COEP. But I would say the safer side is to give entrance exam to score good marks and then to go to COEP, because you get like 4 cap rounds, so you don't really run out of chances. You have a lot of chances, so I would say stick to that.
Also, Snehal, if you would like to tell them about a bit about the admission procedure at COEP, because there are a lot of questions I could see. Divya also wants to know about admission in COEP. So a bit about the admission procedure.
Okay. It's the basic procedure which every college follows. You get the cap round, you have to fill the cap round, you need to keep so you'll be at top if you're aiming for that college. And after some days you get like result whichever college is being allotted to you. Then there is I would say there are centers allocated for verification. You need to go, you need to verify, you need to freeze your seat in that particular college, in that particular branch. And then after that, it's pretty much the verification of documents. You need to be present at the campus. You need to check. You need to get your good documents verified. And I guess that's it. It's not that big of a deal. I don't think the students should be like thinking about that right now. But yeah, I mean, of course, people are curious. So yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for that answer. Shreya, coming to you. Since you spoke about that you have given JEE mains also along with MHT CET, so we'd like to discuss a bit about both these exams, because I could see students having a bit of queries about both the exams. Preparation for both the exams, are they the same? And if they're only applying for JEE mains, is that enough to take an admission and not giving MHT CET. So if you would like to clarify a bit on these.
Yeah. So speaking of my personal experience, like I myself have taken admission in PICT through the JEE mains quota. So I did apply, like I had given the MHT CET exam, but while applying and while taking admission, I secured the admission through JEE mains quota. So like many of the colleges in Maharashtra have this quota system where the 75% quota is given to MHT CET exam candidates, and 15% they have this for the JEE mains quota. So if a candidate, has given both the exams, he can apply through any one of the quotas. So what the procedure is, like whenever the results are declared, you have to submit your scores. Then they give you your merit rank list. Okay. So based on that merit rank list, you have to apply through whatever quota you like. So I have personally applied through the JEE mains quota during the admission process, and I have secured the seat. So speaking of the preparation, JEE mains is one of, it's kind of national level exam. So the preparation required is a bit higher than what we do in MHT CET.
Mm-hmm.
Like the topics covered, even the syllabus, it's quite, I would say not a little bit, but quite different from what we prepare for MHT CET. Like as I said earlier, MHT CET, you can, completely depend on the board textbooks to prepare and crack the exam, and it's sufficient to crack the exam. But for JEE mains, you have to prepare a bit more because the questions are quite intellectual and you have to think about it. And as Snehal, suggested earlier, that questions are, based on practical applications and stuff. So the preparation is a bit difficult, I would say, than MHT CET. And then speaking of like if one has scored, say it good in the MHT CET part, sorry, the JEE mains part. So like if you have scored say around 95 to 96 percentile in JEE mains, then I would say it's quite possible that you can surely apply to good colleges in Maharashtra through that quota. But like speaking of, many colleges don't have this quota, like COEP. COEP has only MHT CET quota. Like students can apply only through that exam quota. And like our PICT has both the quotas for the JEE mains as well as CET.
So, Shreyas, is it compulsory that if you are, already sitting for JEE mains, you also need to give MHT CET, or it's fine that if you're scoring good enough for JEE mains, then you can get an, admission in the college? Is it like that?
Can I add on this point?
Sure. Please, Nehal.
Okay. So as far as JEE mains and CET is concerned, JEE mains is obviously on a very national level. People who start their year by starting the preparation in JEE mains, apparently they are actually aiming for IITs, right? But CET is a very good backup plan because I would say keep CET as a backup plan if you are actually preparing for JEE mains. Focus right now if people are right now CET ke liye there is hardly a month remaining. So if you have CET, don't just focus on one particular exam ki nahi mujhe yahi dena hai, nahi to ye diya to chalega kya, iske baad fir ye diya to chalega. It's not like that. It depends. It totally depends. Agar tum log JEE mains ko, if you are aiming, then go for it. But you need to have something to fall back on, which is CET, which is the best option, to be honest. Because through CET, you get the top colleges of Maharashtra. Then those top colleges are even much, much, much better than the baby IITs, I would say. So, yeah. So, don't just segregate these two exams. These are the same, but CET is like a subset of JEE mains. But problem itna hai ki it doesn't have any negative marking, and it has a bit lower level than JEE mains. JEE mains is more of like a very, I would say, practical kind of exam. When you need to think, you need to screw your mind over and over again. But
Right.
CET is just that the concept, probably you have just solved it somewhere kahin pe past mein, you know how to solve this. Problem is just time. You need to have that much time. How much, if 3 minutes ka problem you can solve it in 1 minute, that's a win-win. So
Right.
yeah, that is the one differentiating factor between JEE mains and CET.
Yes. So, Shreyas, you were continuing answering the same question, please.
Yeah. So like, as I said earlier, Snail got it very good covered, the topic. Like, so it is, quite difficult to segregate those exams, because as she said, MHT CET is one of the, I would say, the back cover for the
Right.
JEE mains.
Mhm.
But like if one has scored a very good percentile in JEE mains, like many of my friends, got good percentile in JEE mains, like around say 95 or 96. If you get around that point, then it is quite possible that you may get admission in the Maharashtra colleges. But like if you are aiming to get good branch, so there comes the branch comes into picture at this point. Like if you're aiming to go for a good branch, then I would say CET is the option. Like you can score very good in CET and then get branch of your choice. Like if you're planning to go for CAC and EC branch, like they have a very huge like cutoff for those branches. So like the score that you have received in JEE mains might not suffice many a times. Like we don't know the what the cutoff would be in future. So I would say so you should give CET, because if you have scored good in JEE mains, then it is quite obvious that you will score good in MHT CET, because
Right.
the level of exam JEE mains is quite high and CET is quite low. So like it's a win-win
Right.
situation in both the cases.
Right. So, just adding another question to that, Shreyas, what could be the tentative tuition fees per annum at your college, if you'd like to tell them about that?
So like the tentative tuition fees, speaking of, like we have this, like every college has its quota, like general quota and the other quotas. But speaking of, I would say like the general quota, it's around 90K, the tuition fees. And like we have a few other fees like the other stuff, and like, but it's around 90K. And like this being under the government college and stuff, under the SPP university, we have scholarships and other stuff. So like there are various quotas where you can apply through scholarships or the other stuff. But for general quota, I would say it's around 90K.
Right, great. So coming to Athar, there are a lot of questions related to specific reservations for students, and we want to know about like ICT. Is there a certain specific reservations for students who are from outside Maharashtra, or there is a particular quota that ICT has for students?
It is same as of other colleges. There are हर कॉलेज में होते हैं सीट्स, SC, ST, EWS, OBC. There are no special reservations.
Okay, is there anything for OBC category also?
Yes.
Okay.
There is.
Okay. All right. So I think a lot of questions got answered. So just taking some few more questions from students. Snehal, if you would like to answer this, after appearing for MHT CET exam, what exactly the procedure follows and how can you apply for counseling? This question comes from Neeraj.
Okay. So after applying, you get a bit more time to think about your preferences about colleges. And you can just like it depends. अगर तुमको अच्छा गया exam, तो accordingly you need to short down the colleges which you are going to fill up in the cap round. And for counseling, as like I don't know about the counseling, but like personally I haven't really gone in that in a way, because I was pretty chill after the exam, and I was pretty sure that I'm not gonna get COEP. And during my time, I took a bit risk. मेरे cap round में I just put like one college and only one branch. So I was pretty sure that I want to go to electronics and I want to go to COEP. अगर लग गया तो लग गया, तो फिर छोड़ो, engineering करनी नहीं है. So that kind of risk I took. So counseling, I didn't really go into that. But so after exam, you get thoda sa time where you need to figure your thoughts out. You can like segregate the colleges for cap round, and you can check branches, backgrounds. You can talk to people. You can talk to alumni of that particular college, how exactly this branch is about, how are the placements, in what colleges, in what companies you guys are placed, or how it is there, how is the work, how is the environment, and all. You can interact with the alumni if you want to get a more, I would say, deeper perspective to take your decisions. So that's the best way you can actually take a decision on which college to go to. So
right. So, Snail, just talking about placements, what kind of placements COEP has, and if you talk about the scope, what kind of scope does it offers to students?
Sure. So as far as scope is concerned, COEP has like about 150 plus companies coming to the campus, and they offer a lot of different roles, starting from management. Sometimes company comes with management roles as well. They come from management to real tech jobs, comes from Google to, like, I would say startups from Pune. A lot of companies come and people get placed. I would say CS people get placed in first 6 months only after in fourth year, I guess, in fourth year after third year. So for CS, the range is quite high. I would say I don't really know the exact figure, but for electronics, for this year, for my batch, it was starting from 6 LPA to it went to 25 LPA with density with larger density between, I would say, 8 LPA to 17 LPA. So from 8 to 17, maximum people are placed. Less than 8, there are a couple of people placed, and more than, I would say, more than 17, and like 1-2 people who are like very extraordinary who get placed in core companies. So yeah, that is the basic range, I would say.
Okay, so just adding another question, Snail, I have a question from Monis. Minimum marks required in COEP for CS branch?
For CS branch, I would say always target 180 plus. That's the safest you can get. But yeah, if you are like on the edge, or like, see, generally 160, 165 plus is like a safer score if you want COEP. Okay. And there are like two ways. Either you get it through, if you didn't get in cap round 1, you can get it in 2, you can get it in 3, you can get it 4. So like you get like 3 chances. And another way is that even if you get like, let's say you get a low score, you get like 150, 155 and all. If you get that kind of score, and if you're getting a branch called, let's say, civil, or I would say production, it's fine if you take it, because you get one more chance after first year to actually shift your branch. So there are a lot of people who shifted from metallurgy to CS after first year. But then you need to have, like, there is a condition, you need to have 9 plus CGPA there for your first year. That is only one criteria. And also, of course, the seats should be available in that particular branch. But after first year, a lot of people change the branches. So you have a couple of chances, but always try to be in a very safer zone. Try to be at least 170 plus. I would say 170, 175 plus is like a safer score for COEP. For CS, obviously the cutoff goes high, it goes above 180. But yeah, as the rounds are decreasing, your chances of getting into it might be good, I guess.
Right. Thank you for that answer, Snehal. So just quickly coming to Shreyas. Shreyas, just few questions related to JEE also. So Kushi has been wanting to know about, is it necessary to give JEE for artificial intelligence? She wants to know this. If you could help her with this.
Yeah, so like the thing is, the artificial intelligence branch, like I guess it's quite rare, like many of the colleges don't have this branch in their college. I would say in speaking of Pune, I would say the branch is there in VIT Pune. And like I don't know much about the branch, but like yeah, so few colleges have this branch. So if you're planning to, completely go into that branch, if you're being specific, then like, yeah, if you have to give this entrance exam, so you might give MHT CET or JEE Mains, it depends on your choice. But yeah, you should give MHT CET as well, as we have discussed it earlier, like it being a backbone to cover up your academics and stuff. So yeah, I would say you should give this exam. And say if you're planning to pursue your career in AI and stuff in the near future, then yeah, even CSE is a good branch where you can go for, and then you can do some specialization in future.
Right. So just adding few short questions, Shreyas, to that. How many cap rounds are conducted for accepting MHT lowest score? Paras wants to know this.
Okay, so speaking of the rounds, this year, like the year, I would say for taking admissions for the 2021 batch, what they did is they had these 3 rounds, 3 cap rounds through which the admission procedure was there. And I guess after that, they had this one spot round where which was conducted at the institute and college level. But it depends a lot each year because they change the criteria and stuff. Like during our times, during my admission time, the thing was we had only 2 cap rounds and 1 spot. So it depends a lot each year. They change the rules and guidelines each year.
Okay, so just adding last 1 or 2 questions. Paras again wants to know for JEE mains, can they like skip how many queue to skip attempt so that our score gets improved? So I think he wants to know about like how many attempts can he give and how many questions can he also skip, you know, while giving the exam. So just we'll take this last question.
Yeah, so the thing is, for JEE mains, it's based on percentile, right? So the score is quite relative. Like you have the score depends on the number of people that have scored more than you and the number of people that have scored less than you. So it's
Right.
kind of a relative game. So speaking of skipping question, I would say, you know, don't just go on skipping question. You have to choose your question wisely, the questions that you are able to attempt, because there we have negative mark. So you have to choose your question very rightfully, because the questions that you attempt and the number of questions that you go wrong do a lot of damage on your score. Like I've seen it personally, they do
Absolutely.
very bad damage on your score. So I would say skipping questions is not the right word. I would say you should go for choosing questions, the questions that you're able to do properly, the questions that you're confident about. So that's the thing what you should look for. And you know, as like speaking of the like preparation and stuff, I would say, yeah, you should focus on all the topics since it's
Yeah.
JMA. So it's like, you know, quite common to go for all the topics and all the stuff. You should know all the formulas and stuff, and you should prepare for all the things. But there should be, you know, a few topics and maybe some part of syllabus that you're strong with. So you should be strong with some parts so that, you know, you have those marks in your hand beforehand the exam.
Right. So before we move towards the conclusion, I have just shared a link with all of you, which is for MHT CET 2022. So if you have questions regarding the admission dates and, you know, registration and everything, you can always click on this link to get information for MHT CET 2022. It's on shiksha.com. Also, I think all the students who have joined us could see a feedback poll on your screen right now. So I would request all of you to kindly submit this feedback poll, as this helps us to come back with a lot of good responses and come back with a lot of changes that you all require. So this feedback form is very, very important. Also, I would like to share a few more links that will be very helpful to you. So because we have a time limit and we cannot take all the questions, but if any of your queries remain unanswered, I have shared another link where you can always come up and put up your questions. Our experts and panelists are there to help you out. They would help you with the answer. So this section is very, very important, as this helps you, getting answers. Also, we have honest reviews for colleges, verified reviews by students that helps you, to understand and get a better picture of the college and the admission process. And another very interesting tool that Shiksha offers you is the Engineering College Predictor tool, which is another very helpful tool that you can use to, predict, put in your score and marks and get the prediction of your colleges. So these are some very important tools that I've shared with all of you. And I really hope these links and these tools will be helpful to you, because Shiksha is always there. And if any of you have, missed out a session, you can always watch the entire video on our official YouTube channel. Also, before winding up, what one piece of advice all of you, the panelists would like to share with the students? So starting with you, Shreyas, one piece of advice that you would like to share.
Yeah, so one piece of advice would be for MHT CET specifically, stick with the basics. As I said earlier, you have to stick with the basics. And since it's a time game, you have to prepare in such a way that you are able to solve questions very fast and very quickly. So yeah, so that's the thing. And if you do this, I'm sure that you'll all excel. So yeah, so all the best, guys.
Thank you so much. Snehal, what last piece of advice you would like to tell them?
I would say for now, just practice whenever you set for practicing MCQ, just practice with time, and you have a lot of time to actually strategize your main D-Day strategy. So put in a lot of time in solving MCQs. If you're like fixing 20 minutes, and utilize those 20 minutes to wholly, solve all the MCQs, whichever MCQs, and then analyze it back where I did go wrong, why this concept is not recalling, or why this concept is so difficult. Right now, just figure it out. What are your strongest parts, and focus on those and try to excel in those. Rest, though, I think everything is time only. So just practice everything using time. And yeah, I guess that's all from my side. And all the best for everyone in this meet. All the students, whoever are giving MHT CET next month. Thank
Right.
you.
And Athar, coming to you, what one piece of advice for all the students for MHT CET?
Go for PYQs. It will definitely increase your score. If you only go for PYQs, you can score more than 70% in CET, which is enough for you to get into a tier 2 or tier 3 college.
Right, right. So I think three of our panelists, thank you so much for joining us on this session. And I think we got so much of information from the three of you, the three different colleges, three different courses. So I think a lot of students have got a lot of information and a lot of suggestions. So thank you so much, all of you, for joining us on this session. I hope this session was useful to you. But if there are any queries that remains unanswered, I've already shared the link. You can always come back to our website, and the experts and the panelists are there to help you out with all the necessary queries. So thank you so much. And I wish all the students all the very best for MHT CET 2022.